Hello. All right, so this video is a general video about how to establish a trust, or really what's needed for a trust in order to have additional qualifying income to qualify for a mortgage. The reason why this is needed sometimes is borrowers may have significant amount of assets in their various accounts, but not enough claimed income or qualifying income to qualify for the mortgage. So they can't just take what they need monthly from their, from their accounts to qualify. The way that it's done for mortgages to accept it as qualifying income is it has to be trust distributions from a trust. So it's pretty straightforward on how to get it done, and we're going to kind of go through the steps right now. So first, you need a trust. If you don't already have some kind of a trust established, then you're going to need an attorney to draw it up for you. I can't legally go over exactly what needs to go into a trust because there's a lot of legal implications there and things like that. So all I can say is the trusts I've seen are very general for the borrowers. They include not just distribution of assets, but ownership of properties, wills, probate avoidance, things like that. So an attorney will draw it up. The ones I've seen are revocable living trusts, not unrevocable, although I'm not sure if that matters for what we're doing, but that's what I've seen. And generally the ones I've seen, the borrower is the trustee and the beneficiary of the trust. So it's an entity, a trust is an entity that's drawn up, and the borrower actually controls everything about it. So that's one, needing a trust. Step two, you need to fund the trust. And since we're getting income from the trust needs money. So the way that works is existing assets, whether it's in a brokerage account, checking account, savings account, any kind of documented account, would need to be moved into a new bank account that's in the trust name. So the trust is the account holder. But of course, the borrower as the trustee will have full control of the account. It's just a new bank account. So you need to move existing funds into there. Now note that the assets that are in the trust cannot also be used for closing costs, down payment, or any loan-specific reserve funds. So if you need reserve funds for the loan, you need to use these funds for closing costs, things like that. You can't use the trust funds, has to be something else. And the amount needed in the trust is whatever the determined monthly income is needed times 36 months. We need at least 36 months worth of payment. So if we need $1,000 additional income from a trust, then you need a minimum of $36,000 placed into the trust. So how much you put in there is up to you, but at least that amount. So the last step is to actually distribute the funds of the trust so that we can use them as income. Now, this has to be done before the loan is submitted to the lender, so it's already been established. You don't have to wait for a full bank statement to be available because we can show transactions and show that it cleared. But basically, there's three things that need to happen. One, there's a letter that we need to sign. It's usually one sentence long as the trustee. Like, I am the trustee of the trust, and you have to state how much is distributed and when it starts and for how long. So the trust will pay $1,000 distribution starting January 1st, and this will continue for a minimum of 36 months. That's that simple, and they just sign it. Now, the initial distribution has to be prior to the loan submission. So before we get into contract or anything else, that has to be done. And the distribution needs to be documented. Like all income has to be documented. So in the case of a trust, that amount that needs to be distributed has to be deposited into a personal account, and we have to show that those funds have already cleared. So we can show that it cleared either with a full bank statement showing that transaction, or if we don't have time to wait for the full reporting cycle of your personal checking or savings account, what we would get is a transaction history. And I have another video on how to get a transaction history, but it's pretty much just showing up to the date of that transfer that the funds have left the trust account and cleared your personal account. So pretty straightforward. It's just moving money around legally and setting up the trust so it's done properly. All right, thank you so much.